So you want to know how to be free to play in World Flipper? Well, ladies and gentlemen, look no further than this video right here. In this video, I'm going to be calling this the ultimate free to play guide because I'm hoping I won't have to update this. And if I do have to update it, I hope it will be very minor changes and not me having to re-record the entire video. And another reason why this is called the ultimate guide is because we're starting from the beginning of your account until whenever you decide to stop playing this game. I'm going to be trying to give you the best information, the best tips, and my overall game plan / thought process going into the future as being a free-to-play player myself in World Flipper. But before we get into all of that, I do want to say real quick that any of the guides that I mention in this video will be linked down below in the description for all of you guys to check out. And also, this guide is going to be assuming that we're going to be following the Japanese version of the game. So when I'm talking about numbers and events and banners and everything, I'm taking into account the Japanese version and not so much the global version. And the final thing that I want to mention before we get any further is that if you like the content you see, you like me making World Flipper content, you want to see more, or you just like my content in general, I would highly appreciate it if you like the video. It helps it out a ton in terms of algorithm and everything else, helps it push it to more people's recommended. And then not only that, but I would highly appreciate and be extremely grateful to all of you if you guys would click the sub button as well if you're brand new to the channel. We're nearing 30,000 subscribers, which is absolutely insane to me, and that's pretty much all I want to say. So without further ado, let's talk about how you're going to be free to play in this game. The number one tip that I can give to anybody wanting to be free to play in any gacha game is the ability for you to reroll. Rerolling is an insane way for any player to pretty much get exactly what they want coming right out of the gates in a gacha game. And especially in World Flipper, a good reroll that is well thought out and well planned can carry you for pretty much the entirety of the game until you start getting into extremely hard content where you may need more units than what you necessarily rerolled for. But at the current time of us recording in global, you don't even have to worry about that. Now you may be asking me if I'm going to be teaching you guys how to reroll in this video or what are some recommended units, and I'm actually not going to be teaching you how to reroll at all. If you want to know how to reroll or you want to learn about rerolling, down below in the description there will be a link to a Google Doc and a Reddit post that will tell you how to reroll as well as the best units that you should be rerolling for. And the one reason why I'm not going to be telling you guys how to reroll or what to reroll for more specifically is because as time goes on, the reroll that will be considered optimal is going to change quite drastically, because power creep is very apparent. This is a gacha game after all, and new units are going to be on the horizon and constantly coming out. So if you're watching this in 6 months time, you're not actually playing during the launch of the game, there could be who knows what out that is extremely more broken than what we have at launch. So that's why I'm not really going to be recommending any type of characters to you be summoning for in this video. The only thing I will say is that whenever you look at the reroll tier list, I highly recommend that you also look at the team building guide as well. This is going to be constantly updated from what I can tell by people from the actual World Flipper Discord, and this team building guide is pretty good, especially for someone who is trying to reroll an account. Because one thing that I realized is that people think that they can just get the S tier units and be perfectly fine, which yeah, you can if you want to do that, but I'm telling you, your account is going to go so much further if not only you get the S tier unit, but you also build a team or build your reroll specifically around that S tier unit that you're trying to pull. So for example, let's say you really want Silty. Well, why not also pick up Furia if possible and Susu? If you wind up getting all three of them, guess what? You have a really solid team now that's going to be able to carry you through pretty much every piece of content in the game. You could just use the 3 S tiers like I mentioned before. Like right now it's Silty, Viron, and I think the last guy's name like Lazolt, Lensvolt, something like that. And you could just put all 3 of them on the team and just go on your way, but I'm telling you, you're going to realize about the halfway point of the game, something's not right. You're not doing as much damage as you thought you would, and you don't understand why, because you got all 3 of the S tier units. And that's what I mean. Building a reroll or building your team around a specific unit that you are trying to reroll for is going to be a lot better for you in the long run than just picking up whatever is the highest rated on a tier list. And that's pretty much all I want to say about rerolling. If you have any more questions, of course, you can join my Discord down below in the description, and we have a World Flipper chat in there, and you can come to talk about rerolling and all that type of stuff in there as well, or just discuss anything you want to. It doesn't really matter. Pretty chill. Or if you want to go to another place, by all means do it. You have the actual World Flipper Discord, you have the World Flipper Reddit, you have tons of places to go to for different sources of information. So, you know, don't be afraid to branch out and spread your wings a little if you want to know more about the rerolling process or who you should really be going for, because you don't want to make a mistake. So you got your reroll. Look at you. Looking like straight fire right now, on your way to become a god free-to-play player. But now here comes the question. You got your reroll, but how exactly are you going to be free to play? And well, free to play in gacha gaming means that you're not going to be spending any money on the game whatsoever, which means that a certain resource in World Flipper is going to be very, very finite to you and extremely valuable. And that is none other than the beads. These beads right here are your lifeblood in this game, ladies and gentlemen. If you run out of these things, guess what? You can't summon for new characters. And in a gacha game, that is the worst. Not being able to pick up the new shiny toy, ooh, lord, shots to the chest. So what are the ways that we can obtain these beads as a free-to-play player, or anybody playing the game? Since we can't buy beads because we're free-to-play, the best ways to be obtaining them is stuff through story, EX story, first clears on bosses and daily dungeons, and login campaigns, and also any event that comes out. At the current time you're recording this, an event actually hasn't released yet for global, but we should be getting one pretty soon, probably within the next 2 or 3 weeks. Oh yeah, and one thing that I forgot is the mission rewards, or the daily missions as well. These things will reward you with tons of beads, especially the daily missions that you can do every single day. They reward you with 50 beads every day and you don't have to worry about anything. I'm talking about it's just free beads. You just get on, you play the game for a little bit, boom, you get 50 of them for free. So of course I would highly recommend that if you're watching this and you're free to play, to clear every piece of content that you can, from daily dungeons to all of the story, all of the EX story, and always to make sure that you're doing your daily missions and making sure that you clear pretty much every boss fight in the game that you can. Later on down the line, there will be something coming out which is called the Yugen Zone in JP, which will help out free-to-play players quite a bit in terms of the currency that you can obtain if you're able to beat the entirety of it. And that thing resets monthly, by the way. That's going to be a constant stream of beads, you know, when that finally arrives on global. But we know all the ways to get the beads now, but what do we use them on? That's pretty simple. One of the main ways you're going to be using your beads is going to be in the summons, whether that be the armament summons or the character summons, stamina refreshes, revives if you die in a battle, and that's practically it. But some of those I actually would highly advise against you using your beads on. And let me explain. For one, you should never spend your beads on the armament banner. This is one of the biggest things that I can tell you as a free-to-play player, is that there is no reason to ever summon on the gacha equip banner or the armaments banner. The reason why is because every piece of equipment in the game that is farmable is usually miles ahead of the gacha equips. Not only that, the gacha equipment is really only there for whales. It's completely pointless for you to go for, and you're better off just going to grind bosses for a few hours, getting the equips from them and using those on your characters. Another thing that you shouldn't be spending your beads on is stamina refreshes. The reason why I say this is because stamina is very easy to obtain in this game, especially early on. You really won't have to be worrying about stamina whatsoever. Considering that you're doing co-op and boss fights and all that, stamina won't really become an issue for you till a lot later in the game. And also we have stamina potions, which we'll get more of as the game progresses. So we won't really have to worry about the stamina in the game. And the final thing that I would highly advise against you ever spending your beads on is reviving when you're dying in a quest. Because yeah, you died, it sucks. But instead of reviving, I would rather recommend that you guys just back out and try it again. So if you shouldn't spend your beads on the gacha equip banner, you shouldn't spend your beads on stamina refreshes, and you shouldn't spend your beads on revives, then what do I spend my beads on? Character summons. And more so, limited time characters. Character summons are what is going to be the best thing for any free-to-play player to be summoning on, and should be the only thing that you should be using your beads on. The reason why I say this is because summoning on a character banner is going to be the main way how you're going to be able to increase your account power drastically. Now, this doesn't mean for you to just go and throw all your beads in the current banner that we have on global, because this banner right here is complete garbage outside the reroll process. What I mean is saving your beads for characters that come out later on that are meta breaking or extremely good staples to have in any team. For example, if we're following JP, the first character that we're going to be actually getting that is considered meta breaking or an extremely good staple is the boy Rolf and the boy Barak. This banner right here, which came out in JP about 2.5 months after the Japanese version released, will be the first banner that is considered, oh my god, you may want to summon on this banner. But even this banner has a pretty big caveat to it, which is both of these units aren't limited. They're actually going to be put in the regular 5-star pool, but it would be the easiest to, of course, summon them on this banner because they're going to be rated up. Technically, the first unit that comes out that is meta-defining and limited for most people may be something like Summer Laserette, or whenever we get to the half anniversary, I think, whenever Anniversary Regis comes out, he's a character that is limited and one of the most sought after characters because of how broken he is. But if you miss this chance to get him, then guess what? You have to wait. until he comes back on another banner. And we don't know when that's going to happen. So that is why it's extremely important for you to plan out when you're going to be summoning or look to the future to see which units that are really going to be making a difference for you. So we talked about rerolling. We talked about the ways you can get beads, what you should be spending your beads on, what you shouldn't be spending your beads on. We even talked about banners and summoning. But here's the big one. How much currency can a free-to-play player expect every single month in the game? And I did some digging around on the Japanese version, and well, to put it short and simple, without showing you guys all the math and everything was wrong. Yep, everything that I was about to say was completely wrong, because while I was editing this video, I realized, wait, global only gets 40 beads. And here I was talking with everybody else that was in my Discord, and they were playing the Japanese version. I was like, you know what? All of the numbers that I saw from them, and also the numbers that I saw from fellow content creator Hellbent Free to Play, may be technically wrong to an extent or not 100% accurate. Since our daily income of beads is kind of cut down, it does affect us quite drastically. And you may be like, well, how much beads do JP get? Well, they get 50 a day if they do all their daily missions, and we only get 40. It's not as bad as Taiwanese though. The Taiwanese server I think only gets 30 a day or 35, something like that. By the way, Hellbent Free to Play's video about his mathematics and everything for the amount of monthly orbs that we can be expecting will be linked down below in the description, and probably a card popping up on screen as well. But here's the thing, technically because our daily income was cut in global, there's a chance that other stuff may be cut as well, which hopefully it won't. Hopefully it's just the daily missions, which I don't know why they cut that. But let's say nothing else gets cut. What is the amount that we can be expecting a month? And from what I can tell, if my math is right, we could be expecting around at least 2 multis if we save everything. And you know, they're treating us right with login bonuses and all that. That's what I can tell. But when the Yugen Zone comes out later on, the monthly reset mode that I was telling you guys about, we could be expecting an additional 2 multis. So, you know, we would definitely be able to get at least 3 multis a month and possibly even 4. Which means that, yes, unfortunately, Global got shafted yet again. Of course, we won't know the actual estimate of what we're going to be getting on Global till about, I want to say, a month or 2 passes on the global side of the game, and then we can kind of see exactly how the global devs are going to be treating the global player base. So now it comes into the most important part of the video, and I'm just going to go ahead and re-record this, even though I had this recorded, is going to be my pulling strategy. And it's not really rocket science. This entire video isn't rocket science. It was just more so me explaining every little detail to you so you can be well versed and know exactly what you can do so you can make the decisions for yourself. The first banner I'm summoning on is the banner that I mentioned before, the Rolf and Barak banner. This banner is a banner that I'm really anticipating because both these units are really strong. Even though they are going to be in the base 5-star pool after they leave, I want to try to get them on this banner if possible because they're going to be rated up. This should be coming 2.5 months after launch, and then after that, the entire banner plan for me is I'm skipping pretty much every single banner apart from limited time units, and maybe other units that are going to be in the default pool, but they're considered quite meta breaking. Because that's how I'm going to have the most fun. Not everybody's going to have the most fun doing that strategy because all of us play the game differently. And guess what? That's completely okay. If you see a character come out and you really like their design, then guess what? Summon for him. It's a game. Have fun. There's no reason to be super optimal, and there's no reason for you to treat the game like a second job. If you're here to have fun and everything, go for the characters that you like the most. You want waifus? Then summon for waifus. Save for them. If you want husbandos, save and summon for husbandos. If you want to go for meta, then A, save and go for meta. Even me, myself, if I see a character comes out, because I haven't seen every character in the game yet, that looks really cool, you best believe I'm probably going to be summoning for them. And that's practically it. That's the short and sweet answer of it, and there's nothing else to really say. Just don't spend your currency on every banner, and make sure you're saving. And also, nowadays, you have so many resources to you. In terms of information, you can always watch Should You Summons on YouTube. You can go into Reddits and Discords and ask, you know, should I summon on this banner that's coming out? There is so much information and knowledge out there nowadays. It's very easy for you to be a budget or free-to-play player in the game and be pretty successful with what you do. Does it suck that Global gets shafted in terms of the currency? Absolutely. But it's not the end of the world. It does make re-rolling, though, that much more important in my opinion. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this video. Thank you all for coming out. I'm sorry this video didn't necessarily end on a high note, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you all for coming out. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe for more. Appreciate y'all so much. Thank you all for coming out again. And last but not least, don't forget to drink water.